we saw there, okay, among the students, okay, which is we want to develop it more further. We want to make sure that each one of you guys really understand how to use the basics kind of movements, okay, to develop your strong foundations of your drawing techniques. Before you're going to move over, you actually can learn also more by yourself, okay, independently after our classes there, okay. For those who really want to seek more knowledge and improvement and from their skills there, okay. Because you have to remember one thing, okay. We're not learning illustrations not just to part of those core subjects here, okay. There is a reason why they're becoming a core subjects, okay. One of the most important reason is because it's about to develop your design senses by using illustrations and drawings techniques. All right. Illustration is a part of the visual communications that multimedia designers use, and most of the designers use them, okay. I think all designers have been using them, okay, from architects, engineers, even though teachers there, okay, who actually at school nowadays, and also business entrepreneurs, okay, they use all these kind of visual language communications to work with it. And illustration is not actually been staged as a drawings only, or made it into those paintings only there, right? Okay. Video can be a part of illustrations, the illustrative kind of video presentations that we call them, right? Okay. They have a visual effects, they have a reference, there's a samples there, okay. They have a acting there, okay. Illustrative is all about is visual communication. I'm going to explain a bit more maybe in more briefly, basically, right, okay, in our next lesson class there, okay. But I just want to share you guys, okay, all this kind of understanding that first. So don't actually write, okay, photography, for example, there, okay. Photography is a part of those illustrations. If I want to share with you guys, okay, photographic is illustrations there. Okay, illustrations here, right? So if you take a look at the mixture of those drawings and illustration, for example, there, right? This is what we call one of the way people actually, what we call that, creating their, okay, develop their, okay, or showcase their, okay, their photographic illustration styles there, okay. These infographic kind of styles also called photographic illustrations there, right, okay. So if you take a look at this is image manipulation that you guys will be learning in your other subjects there, okay, for this semesters there. But this is also by using photographic as a digital kind of collage techniques there, okay, assemblage or collage that we call there, okay, paper card there, okay, whatever that you're going to call, okay, manually there, okay. But when we transfer these ideas into digitals, they become a digital photographics, what we call it kind of styles there to approach. And for the subject we call image manipulations, right? Okay. So this is basically what related with what you learn from my classes to other classes at the same time there, okay. You learn to develop your drawing skills, and even though you want to use a certain kind of what we call that filters, effects, or even though you're going to draw them back there, okay, you have developed your sensor. You don't actually just click and use only as a normal users there. And of course, in illustrations, there's a story, okay, from that visual that we can actually write, we can actually interpret there, okay, and showcase to the audience. Okay, we want to tell the stories there, okay. Those are what we call the photographic illustrations there, okay. We tell stories using illustrations or visual, okay, to communicate with those audience there. We want to sell something there, right, okay. Like I said right now, like I am right now there, okay. If I just talk to you guys without showing some samples. I'm not actually giving you guys some illustrative kind of explanations there. So if I include samples, reference, sharing some of the visuals like this there, okay, that means I communicate with you guys verbally and visually. Okay, and that's basically the analogies, or the way basically I'm going to give you guys some examples here. Not only just my demonstration that I actually have give you guys, okay, for previous sessions that we have there, okay. All this kind of thing, I'm using a visual communications to talk to you guys, other than I'm just talking with my kind of what we call that way of communications, using the language that we have to use there, okay, to communicate there. Okay, so hopefully you guys have more insight kind of understanding over here, okay, to develop more on your understanding from now on. So it's not all about learning to draw only in illustration classes, and then you're going to close the books after you submit all the projects there, right? After that, you're going to forget about it, what you've learned before there, right? Okay, and then you're going to move on with your life and learn some of the new subjects, okay, for the next semester. It's not like that they're going to be happens there. They are not going to be work out like that. Okay, if you really want to improve basically your kind of what we call that knowledge and understanding there, what you've learned from first semesters until you graduate there, right? Okay, and you're going to use those kind of knowledge, your kind of experience, all right, to bring over to your work there, okay, to build up your careers there, right? Okay, and to sell something there, okay, to the clients there, right? And all those kind of exposures, your experience that you gain from all the lessons there, okay, it will be a part of your weapons to face the futures there, to face your real life there, okay. That's basically the things that you have to understand, why actually you guys have learned here right now. Okay, to gain those experience back again, to develop your kind of senses of work there, okay. So are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys around 20 minutes there, okay. 20 minutes is more than enough time, but you don't have to record those videos until 20 minutes there, okay. 20 minutes is only to study drawing, and if you can shoot those videos or until 20 seconds, more than enough. But your length there, okay, your timing that you actually can fix, okay. If you saw how actually I work with it, okay, around 1 minute with explanations, because I already get used with the tools there, okay, that I should actually use, okay, in a matter of to develop that kind of techniques there. But most of the common things that I saw from the student who actually send the videos to me there, okay, either you move too fast, because when you move too fast, you don't actually study with your eyes, you don't look at into your eyes there, okay, through your eyes about your structures and subjects there, right? And if you actually move too slow, sometimes you press too much on those pressures there, and you kind of control too much on your strokes there, right? Okay, we don't want to do those kind of things there. We want to let it flow there, release your pressures there, right? Okay, we don't want to stress too much when we move our hands there, right? Just relax to move your hands according to what you see through your eyes, not through your imaginations there. Okay, I have ripped off one of my formal student work, not because I want to threaten you guys there, but this is something happens around 2000 there, right? Okay, because why? Okay, so I just want to tell you guys this story because end up there, okay, this student become a straight A student in my subjects, in my class. Okay, because when we talk about, we don't use our imaginations yet. Okay, what happens here, okay, these students, okay, when we do this kind of exercise there, okay, but I explain in Bahasa at the time because most of the student basically is a one culture kind of one race kind of students there, right? Other kind of communities there. So what happens here, okay? When he actually have drawn, okay, the models in front of them, his friend, okay, their friends there. Basically, we have the studios there, right? But the thing is, when we ask the student to what we call that present it, okay, on the wall, okay, all the works that student have been done there, right? Okay? This student basically suddenly draw inside of those drawings that he draw his friend there, right? Okay, as a coin there, right? Okay, a money coin there, right? Okay. So I asked him there, right? Okay, where do you find this coin there? Okay, I draw from my imagination there. Okay, I just want to test them. Okay, I just want to not to threat, right? Okay, but want to test and also to give them basically a discipline on you should appreciate what you've learned from now on and follow basically what we have told, because if you're not actually if you try to be smart but your results of your working is quite lousy there, right? Okay, it's not up to the standard that we want there, right? Okay, people outside there don't give a damn about you. All right, if you saw some of the auntie become your client, for example, right, it's a little bit kind of kiasu there, right? Okay, if you don't follow her basically kind of orders there, right? Okay, her kind of request, and she actually paid you with a good money, for example, okay, and of course, okay, what basically she's done sometimes request sometimes is not that up to the standard there, but you have to follow them first. But my kind of principle of working there, okay, even though the ideas of what people or the clients actually have given me is not that quite practical, I will present according to what they want, but I will give also some extra ideas there because they paid well there, okay? They paid us well, so why don't we share some of our knowledge here? Okay, because we appreciate their efforts also at the same time. We want to build up the relationship, not the enemy there, okay, between our clients there, right? Okay, even though how kiasu they are there, right? Okay, but we want to build up those relationships because by the end of the day, if they're happy, we are happy. And if the campaign or the result of the works are going to be success, we also will feel satisfied with what people actually have, what we call that, share with us, okay, or bring up to the tables there, okay. That's basically one of the most important things too. But let them actually show, for example, like you guys, I let you guys to show basically your level of skills, and I see a lot of things that has to be correct. So I begin with the process of to develop your foundations there first. Because the thing that we're going to work out for the next following weeks are going to be more challenging there, right? If you don't follow exactly, because if you don't build up yourself, because you have to remember one thing, this is not group projects, this is individuals kind of works there, right? So if you don't build up yourself in the correct way, you have a lot of difficulties there. Okay, on following through basically all these exercise and the project at the same time. All right, so what happens to the students' works there, okay? I call him basically in front, and I told him one thing. Okay, do you respect your works there, okay? You say yes. Do you like your works? Yes. But I don't see that you actually really respect your kind of process of working here, because I didn't teach you guys yet how to imagine your drawings here. I asked you guys just to draw from what you saw in front of you, and then you transfer on those papers, right? So that means that you don't respect your chimes, and you don't value basically your learning experience that I try to give you guys here, right? Because this is not from my gift there, okay? This is basically from what I've learned for so many years there, from professional before me there, okay? And I'll share with my students here, okay, and my chimes at the same times. So I don't see that you actually respect enough your works. So the best way is, why don't you take those drawing back again and rip off in front of me. All right, that's basically the things that happens, okay? So Everyone basically shocked there, okay? But I didn't scold, but I say, you just report, okay? You don't actually appreciate it, okay? Then you draw back again. So he reported, okay? And then you keep these drawings there. You keep these drawings there, right, okay? And then until the end of the semesters, I want to see your results from here. So he turned out to become one of the best students for my classes. Okay, because I know he has a very tremendous, unique kind of imaginative ideas there. I really opened up with a lot of very bizarre ideas from the students. But make sure basically it's up to the standard that we saw. It's kind of can be showcased to the internet there, okay, to the social media there, okay. That's basically what I want to see from the students. That's why I put those kind of challenge with this. A certain kind of students normally, okay. Normally when I saw the student can draw well there, okay, I will give them a bit more challenging there, okay, because I know they can push a little bit more further from there. I don't want to stop you guys from putting your wild kind of imagination ideas there, okay, into your closed set there, okay. I want you guys to spread it out there, okay, bring to your works. But you have to basically do it in a more proper kind of way, because otherwise all these kind of creative ideas are become useless there. Because people who actually sometimes confident enough there, okay, about what they do, but they don't know how to start there, okay, and they just for me, okay, they just ego enough to just to show something that what they've learned, but they thought it's right, but once in a while, or maybe in the some of the situation, they don't actually confident with it anymore. They want to pursue it back again. That's basically the thing that I find quite wasted lah. Because if you're really sure what you do there, okay, you just do it there, right? Because there's not money involved at the times. Only you, for example, you just scoop it, but you don't actually pay every day to learn it, okay? But you pay once, basically, for example, you pay the fees, okay, and then you're going to learn and learn and learn it, right? Okay. For some of the courses that I saw, okay, you want to learn about one thing, you have to pay there, right? You want to learn about this thing, you have to pay this kind of money, okay? So they involve a lot of investment there, okay? But some people's outside there, they're willing to invest, but because they know the value of those knowledge, not because of the money there, okay? But you guys have this kind of privilege there, right? So that's why don't waste that kind of privilege that you guys have from now on that to work. So guys, 20 minutes of your times. We're going to start around 10:30, okay? But you guys can start early if you want to, right? Record the sessions around 20 seconds there. Send it over to our WhatsApp groups there. You guys have been adding in my WhatsApp, right? Groups. Class reps. If you have a class rep, please add me on your groups. All right. Group 3, right? Right now.
Group 2.
Group 2. Okay. Group 2. Okay. So please add me on that. Okay. If you have done, good, right? And I want you guys to send over, okay, those kind of videos and your drawing at the same time. They're right. Okay. Around 10:50, right? 10:50. I think it's more than enough time, right? I don't want to wait too long, okay? But I want to give you guys an example from there. The time frames that you guys can actually explore first. If you have done good there, okay, you just send 1 or 2 drawings. If you haven't there, okay, draw back again. I want to see your movements, the movement of your hands when you draw. Not drawing only hands. You can draw anything you want there, okay? You can draw, don't draw your smartphone. I don't want you to draw all this kind of flat kind of stuff there, okay? You want to draw something like this, more dynamic kind of shapes that we have there, okay? Like this one there, right? You can there, okay? If you have some sort of like toys or action figures or any kind of what we call that, characters, animations, characters that you have, robot, Gundam, there, okay, whatever, you can try to draw them there. But using in 20 minutes without erase your drawings, contour line drawing exercise there. All right. You saw basically how I actually continuing all those kind of line there, okay? And later on, I'm going to do those demonstrations. The same techniques, but I'm going to draw in front, at back on my can, what we call that stage over here, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate to you guys how I actually draw this guy there, okay? But using this contour line drawings. And we don't focus on realistics, and we don't focus on perfections. Okay? The only perfections that you will get the values from what you've experienced, you see it. Not imaginations. You kept all those informations, what you saw inside your head. And then you move with your hands according to what you see, what you saw there, okay, within your eyes. Understand what I mean there? All right, look into your eyes on the objects there. Move with your hands while you draw. But you kept into your mind all the certain kind of curve, kind of strokes, lines, structures, form that you actually can record using your hand while you draw. Okay? All right, guys, are you ready? If you guys ready, take your pen, start to work on that. And I'm going to leave you guys, okay, with the music at the same times. All right, some samples of my works, all right, okay, on those demos. And we're going to see back again around 20 minutes there. All right, so get ready. Using pen, don't pencils there, no pencils there, okay. Then I'm going to do some what we call that, comment and also corrections from there. Yes, who is it?
Me, sir.
Yes, you right?
So do we just draw the hand reference or human reference?
Anything that you want to draw.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anything that you want to draw, because sometimes you feel bored. I could draw one subject, or I could draw whatever that you saw there. Okay, if you have a window outside there, if you have a pot of flowers that you want to draw, go ahead. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. So good luck. See you guys around 20 minutes there. Right?
Okay, sir.
Welcome. So I just want to show you guys also some of the videos there, okay, from this Korean kind of master, right, Kim Jung-gi, you know that, okay, but he has trained a lot, okay, with his styles there, okay, techniques. Cause I know that you feel me soon. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be. Don't want to go home right now. And all I can taste is this room. And all I can breathe is your hand. And sooner or later it's over. I just don't want to miss you tonight. And I don't want the world to see me. But don't get me wrong, guys, okay? Because Kim Jong-il basically used outline to draw because he already know how to measure the proportions. Okay, the proportions there, right? So for beginners, don't draw like this one, okay? Using continuous line to draw, right? I just want to show you guys how this master actually can manage to understand about the proportions there. Because when you draw like this, normally the proportion of human being are going to be wrong, okay? Incorrect, okay? Because he already studied basically all the proportions really well. But just using as a part of the knowledge and experience step first before you're going to experience them more further, right? Things they don't understand. Everything's made to be broken. I
just want you to know can't fight the taste all that you think everything feels like the movies. Yeah, you play just to know me. And I thought the world to see, 'cause I don't think everything's made to be wrong. I just want you to I don't want the world to see, 'cause I don't think that they understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they understand. Everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am.
All the stuff that we have to say like God is not even though when I draw my hand, I say, okay. So the tricks and also the tips that I can actually give you guys, if you want to draw any kind of subject matters from now on, you must be able to basically understand about how the whole structures are going to be worked directly, how the structure is going to be formed basically, that we can actually translate back.
Sir, can you hear me?
The sheets, details that we are trying to, what we call that, studies there, right? Using our eyes and move our hands, right?
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can we see the paper when we are drawing, or we just watch the reference only?
Okay. Focus on the reference. Don't focus on the papers there, right?
So, can we see the paper or cannot?
Cannot.
Cannot. Okay, thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. One of the reasons there, right? Okay. Because when we look at the papers, we will spend more times looking at the papers rather than we're going to draw looking at the reference. And this is basically the common things happen there for all peoples, right? Okay? And when we start to, okay, if you were going to put on the percentage there, right? Okay, this is what I actually going to give you guys some tips there, right? Okay? Normally for this exercise, we should 100% look into the reference. Don't look ever to those papers there, right? Okay? When we draw. Why? We want to prevent from us to what we call that, to always worried about our perfection and mistakes there, right? Okay. So don't worry about that, okay? We don't focus on the perfections there, on the drawings there, right? And after that, when you actually get used with that kind of movements, flows, routine and discipline, then can give you guys around 10 or 20% of your times look at the papers, but only for a glimpse, all right? A glimpse there, okay, 0.0.5 maybe seconds there, right? Okay. And then you start to look back again to your to your subject matters there. Why? Because we just want to control a little bit on the measurement using our hands, not rulers, okay? When we draw, because we are afraid that sometimes we draw what we call it out from the borders of those papers. That's all. But not try to basically look how our hands move there, right? Okay, because we are going to, when we start to look more on the papers, normally we will start to assume how the subject look like using our mind, not our eyes anymore. And that will come, the imaginations kind of process happens from there, okay? That's why we try to prevent them first. Okay, you will find that kind of logic and that kind of relations if you really focus on the things that I've explained right now, and you will find a lot of beneficial from there. Trust me on that, because I went through from here there, okay? So work on that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Derek.
Sooner or later, it's over. I just don't miss you tonight.
What the things that we have to do, what we call the discipline, and also not basically teaching ourselves while we draw, okay? By not looking at the papers when we draw. All right? While we draw the paper. So another example that I want to teach you guys there. Let me see how I want to draw my own face. All right? Okay, I'm going to take it here. All right. Let's say I want to draw back in my own face, but I'm not going to look at the papers when I draw. So that means I'm going to look at you. At the same time, I'm going to move my hands. I'm going to move my hands there. It's not going to be easy though, but I have to use them. If you look over here, I will look at it. Okay, I don't look at the papers directly, and you guys can see okay, most of my time is going to look into the screen directly to the cameras. Okay. My hands has to be moved slowly, right, in order to develop that kind of what we call that structures of it for my drawings. Okay, I'm just not looking at the cameras because I just want to take those selfies there, right? But I'm actually right using my eyes to coordinate my hands by using my brain, my mind directly to give those informations, right, to my hands, which areas, which parts, which basically directions that the hands should move. All right, I hope my English, my explanations, again, I'm going to draw the lips, are going to be kind of easy for you guys to understand, right? Okay? If you don't understand, right, okay, please go to Google Translate. All right, okay, I try the best that I can basically to show you guys how the thing works. Even though we don't look at those drawings well, we draw again. The most common kind of issues that we have from the newbies, the new students there, okay, and the person actually who want to learn to draw there, okay, and to study back again the basics of drawings, they doesn't know how to move their hands in the right way. I actually almost complete this kind of drawings. We can see later on. You can see in the short target. Okay. This is my drawing already. I draw myself without looking at the papers. All right? Without looking at the papers, without looking at the sketchbooks. Because this observation exercise were basically meant to be to develop our observations understanding. Right? If you want to become a good kind of artist, not by using imaginations or abstract kind of paintings, but you have to develop basically your design senses there, which is the eyes, mind, and brain and enhanced together. Right? Those are basically the three senses that you have to develop in order to understand about how to draw any kind of objects in this world in the right way. Okay? That's basically one of the main criteria. If you take a look at most of the YouTube channels, all these kind of online sessions, they actually show you guys the techniques how to draw. But how actually you're going to move your hands? How actually you're going to start to move your hands while you draw? Because when you draw that, you're not actually just move those hands, okay, according to what you think that it can be done there, okay, they're supposed to be have the right kind of movements there, flows there, okay, pressure point control there, okay, that which basically can lead into the quality of your line there, okay, when you draw. Because the quality of line is basically one of the principle of design that you have to understand, okay? Because without this quality of line, your line become a doodle line, okay? Not all people can use it, work with a doodle line, okay, to develop that kind of art, okay? Because most of people who actually can draw using the doodle kind of techniques and style, basically, okay, they actually have a good sense of drawing skills. If you really want to develop those kind of good drawing skills, you must be able to know how to move your hands in the right way first. All right, those are one of the fundamental foundations kind of exercise, which is lead into the greater things in the future. Okay, because I can see for so many years, there's a lot of people that have been trained, they cannot actually improve their drawing skill and they don't build up those confidence directly because they don't practice to move in the right way. Just like dancing is the right way. You have to move in the right way, in the right way, and like what we call it, the right kind of groove there, right? Okay? Before you're going to learn a few number kind of steps there, right? Okay? So all the basic structures, kind of studies, all right, how basically the drawings and the shape structures and what we call that form basically the right thing is all lead into it's all begin with this kind of exercise. Train your hands, your wrists, your movements, your flows, your pressure kind of strokes in the right way first before you're going to learn the techniques that are key, advanced and techniques that are key. All right, good luck and thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Cause I don't think they understand. And everything made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. And I don't want the world to see me. Cause I don't think they I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am. Want you to know who I am. And I give up forever to touch you. 'Cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to that I'll ever be. On cold home ground. And all I can taste is this moment. And all I can breathe is your hand. And sooner or later it's over. I just don't wanna miss you tonight. And I don't want the world to see me. 'Cause I don't think that they understand. can't fight this. All that truth you like. Everything feels like the cause I don't think they'd understand when everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am, and I don't want the world to see me, cause I don't think I just want you to know who I am. I want you to know who I am. And I could love you forever and touch you, cause I know that you feel me soon. You're the closest thing that I'll ever be. Go home now. And all I can taste is this moment. And all I can breathe is you. And sooner or later it's over. I just don't wanna miss you tonight. And I don't want the world to see me, cause I don't think that they understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know you can't fight the tears that make all that you feel like. Everything feels like cause I don't think they understand. And everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. I don't want the world to see me, cause I don't think I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am.
Have you guys complete there, guys? Have you guys complete those drawings? Okay, send it over to my WhatsApp, all right? for in our group WhatsApp there, right? I'm going to check whether your kind of drawing is right or not. And we can see whether, yeah, we can actually do some corrections, okay, from these sessions here. Okay, good guys there.
You guys around 10 or 20% of your times look at the papers, but only for a glimpse. All right, a glimpse is 0.0.5 seconds. Okay, and then you start to look back again, to your subject matters there. Why? Because we just want to control a bit on the measurement using our hands, not holding when you draw, because we are afraid that.
All right, look good there, okay, from you song there. Okay, but those kind of speed that you actually try to work is almost like a gesture line stroke style there, okay? But hopefully you actually can improve from that. I think you song you have that kind of skills there to draw, right?
No.
But the way that you draw is very confident there. That's basically the thing that we saw from there, okay? This one from, I don't know the name there, okay? But yeah, it looks quite okay there, okay? For the movement, very slow, take time a little bit, but don't press too much on your hands, right? Okay, just relax there, okay, when you draw there, right? Okay, one of the things that you have to remember, okay, when you actually draw too fast, sometimes you're going to miss out some of the major detail that you're supposed to study within your eyes before you're going to what we call the install your memories, okay? The things that you've been draw, okay, inside your mind, okay, according to the time that you have, because we always take for granted with what we see and studies there, guys. Okay, that's why we try to avoid a tremendous kind of speed. Okay, we have to slow down a little bit when you study using this observation exercise over here. All right, good videos, good try over here there. Check back again. Did you look at the papers while you draw that girl? Who actually draw this one? Whose video is this?
Me.
Oh, you are. Oh, I thought a girl, right? Yeah. Right. Your hands look like a girl, like. All right. Do you look at your hands there when you? Do you look at the papers when you draw?
Look at my hand.
Not look at the papers, is it?
Yes.
All right. So if you're not looking at the papers, don't draw only an outline there, okay? If you saw our hands over here, there's a few number kind of muscle connections that we actually can build up during the process, not only the outline there, okay? So if you saw basically my kind of what we call that videos right here now, my kind of screen there, right? Okay, while we draw, all right, the subject there, right? Okay, let me use this one there. Okay, you start with this line over here, right? This line, okay, the outline there, okay. Why you have to work with all the outline first there, okay? Why don't you actually start with this kind of shapes over here? There's these muscles there, okay, that connected with your thumb there. You actually can draw, okay, not just follow through only the conventional kind of way of moving your hands, but you can actually, right, I can saw you try to draw this part there, okay, but not the single kind of, sometimes the shadows line there, okay, you can see some of the shadows line there, okay, from here, shadows, okay, lighting and shadows there, right. You just can actually draw them in the very more thin kind of line there, okay, in order to give a little bit kind of the quality, the value of your drawings, okay, not just have the very strong kind of shapes, or maybe it will it looks like it's stiff there, right? It looks like very stiff there, okay, because you took control too much on those kind of form that you try to create there, okay. You not actually try to make it loose a little bit, okay. Why we actually have to draw the shadows shapes there, okay, according to the structures that we saw in front of us here right now, the line that they connected, okay, between those hands there, right, okay. All these kind of things will give, when you draw them, okay, with a very loose kind of line, they're going to give more natural kind of looks of your drawings there, instead of look stiff there, okay, look hard there, look very, very pale there, okay, on those drawings there, okay. That's why we need to develop all these kind of motions at the same time there, okay, to work with it. Okay, when you use those ball pen, you have those kind of more advantage for you to control the pressure really well. If you use marker, sometimes it's hard there, okay, but you still can basically to work on that. That's why we need all these kind of videos just to see whether the student doing in the right way or not, okay. Let me see more from here, because I want to do some my demonstrations after this. Can you see that, right? When you draw too fast sometimes, and you press a little bit hard there, right, okay? But it's not basically totally wrong, okay? There has a movement from there, good there, okay? But you check back again while you actually draw, while you develop this kind of experience, what do you gain from there? All right? Did you just draw whatever that you saw only, but not studying entirely details from there? Because our mind has to be released a bit, because there is no rushing on these drawings. Remember, okay, from this exercise, early exercise, no rushing there, okay? No one say, okay, oh, you have to draw, okay, what we call that, 5 seconds only, drawings only there, okay, for example. 20 minutes basically is a very long kind of what we call that durations that you can actually write. Use that kind of time to develop your kind of understanding there, right? Back again, you can actually create your own kind of time to observe things really well when you draw. Okay, when I actually first study with this kind of exercise, all right, I kind of like, okay, just now that I saw that, okay, when you draw there, right, this is not the kind of drawings that we want. Okay, see, you lift off your pen away while you draw. This is not the right way there, okay? Who is it? The names?
Teacher me.
Are you there, right? Who is it? Chisam there, right? Okay, Chisam. Chisam, you're doing a wrong way there, Chisam. This is not the right way of drawing that we want to develop from here. All right, change the way you draw from now on. I'm not teaching you to draw like this. You must be able to analyze it well, okay, from my videos presentations. Okay, most of the videos there. All right, I want to ask you guys who actually haven't subscribed these channels there. Okay, the reason why I force you guys to subscribe, not because you understand that, right? It's not because of those monetizations there. I want you guys to be alert there, okay? About what is going on, what is happening around the every single kind of moment that we have in our practical and lecturing class here. You saw my drawings over here that Chisam, okay, and the rest of you guys. Did I actually lift off my pen before I draw? One there, right? Am I actually take off my pencil or my pen before I draw? Yes or no? By looking at these drawings here. Please put it on those chat box, okay? Y or N there, right? Am I actually, right, lift off my pen before I draw or not? Yes or no?
No.
No, they're right. How about you, Chisam? Did you saw that? Yes or no, they're right. By
No.
looking at this drawing, try to analyze, learn using your eyes now. Okay, to look and study back again, to learn from here. I didn't actually, right, take off my pen when I draw. And of course, I didn't take off my pants when I draw there, okay? So don't take off your pen or drawing pen or pencils there, okay, when you draw. From now on, learn to control the pressures point, the flows, while you draw from now on. Because when you draw like this one, right, you have a lot of hesitations. Hesitate when you draw, when you move there, okay? We want to avoid it. We want to prevent them, right? And I'm not teaching you guys to draw like this, the eyes itself there, okay? I didn't teach you guys to draw like this one. Remember, guys, okay, all the things that we've learned right now is all about to develop your element of design. I don't know whether you guys been exposed with this one from Dr. M kind of classes, but it's supposed to be there, right? Okay. So we're going to develop this kind of understanding and formations there. From one point to another point, become line and then become shapes. And when the shapes combine all together, right, okay, become a form of an object there, right, okay. And when we put a light there, okay, when we actually have the source of light, like you saw my face right now there, okay. There is a source of light there, right, from my faces, okay, from here. That means the shadow going to fall off to the left side there, right. So that means when the shadows appear there, okay, from the form itself, right, okay, they become a textures value, and you have seen the space. All right, okay. Same goes when you draw the circles there, okay, become a shapes, all right, okay, and become a form of what we call it, a round kind of ball, for example, right, okay, a sphere there, right, okay, what we call sphere there, right, sphere there, right, okay. That means from the sphere turns into the textures, form, value, and space. This is basically the importance kind of understanding when we draw there, right, okay. We try to study and explain on the language of design like this, okay, what you've learned from now on. That's why you have to change there. All right, I don't want to see this kind of drawings anymore there, okay, for the rest of you guys. Because if you still draw like this, that means you don't learn anything from my classes there. From now on, change the way you draw, okay? Understand it, guys? It's not
Understand.
that
Yes,
easy. Yeah? It's not that easy there, okay? But you need to try that. You have to change. Okay. Now, actually, right, she tried to draw basically the one of the what we call the keychains kind of anime characters there, right? See how fast basically she moved her hand there, right? So we take a look here, okay, whether it's basically in the right way or not, right? Okay. Did you look at those papers when you draw?
No.
No? All right. But don't draw too fast there, right? Okay, if you draw too fast, you actually have missed out most of the important kind of way to study the whole structures that you want to draw there, right? Okay? But the line works is okay there, okay? I can see that you start to develop that kind of understanding there. But of course, we're not focused on the perfections there, right? Because there is no such thing of the perfections with these drawings, okay? When you start to practice the techniques first. I didn't focus for any perfections, right? Okay? Because most of the time when we try to perfect our drawings, they become imperfections, right? So why you have to bother about the perfections first? All right, thank you guys. Okay, thank you for all of you guys who actually participate here there, okay? I really felt quite I really appreciate basically, right, okay, those kind of what we call that the commitment that you guys have here. What are you trying to draw here right now there? Girl or boy there, right, okay? Hand, is it? Who actually draw this one? Cindy, is it?
Yes.
Cindy there, right, okay? You draw your hand, is it?
No, I look the picture.
The picture, what is it you draw, that you draw here?
I send the WhatsApp group.
Okay, send it over there, right? So you look at the pictures, but don't look at the papers when you draw, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Where is it? The photos? This one? No. Can you see, right, how hard basically you hold your pencils over your pen over here? Are you sure basically you don't look at those reference when you draw? You don't look at the papers when you draw?
No.
Huh?
I look the pen.
But it looks like you control there, right? Okay? If you don't look at the papers, right, they're not going to have this kind of results there, okay? This kind of result is quite controlled there. All right? Okay, let me demonstrate if I want to draw the same line like that, but without looking at the papers, how are you going to be there, right? Okay? I'm not looking at the papers right now, all right? Let's just say I'm looking at the because your line to control there, girl, there, right? This one or the fingers that just not in the.
Yes.
Okay, if I want to draw the same kind of thing, right, okay, without looking at the papers, but I try to imagine them. Okay. This is what I saw in my mind, okay, using your reference just now. Am I actually get the perfect kind of lines over here? Guys?
No.
No, they're right.
Yeah.
So, all right, don't cheat yourself with this exercise, okay? I don't want to see how perfect your drawing is. They're not going to be impressed me. See? I'm not looking at the papers while I draw. You saw there, okay? I'm not going to get the line works that control too much over here. Like this one there, right, okay? Are you sure there, girl, that you don't cheat yourself when you draw? Tell me the truth here right now.
I see the pen and the paper.
Yes, right? So don't cheat yourself. We know they're right, okay? They're not going to be impress me. Okay? And don't try to impress yourself also at the same time to draw like that at the moments there. Even though you can draw well there, okay? Even though you can draw well there, okay? But for this exercise, we're not going to be impress me. Okay? You're not going to get a good marks from this exercise if you maintain that kind of discipline there, okay? Because you have to understand the main objective of this exercise, okay? Even though you can draw whatever styles, that tactics that you know before, okay? But trust me in one thing. When it comes to your projects, okay, that you did, not all going to be succeed in a more better kind of what we call that results. If you don't actually be patient to develop a bit more further on your understanding here before you're going to combine whatever styles or technique that you have that you bring over to your hands and your mind experience there by combining the techniques that I actually try to explain and also give you guys as a lesson here. And for those, I have to remind back again, all right? Because I have to remind 8 times, okay, in every session there. So a little bit kind of hectic there, right? Okay? And exhausted sometimes there, right? But if you cannot draw well, okay, for some of you guys, I can see there again, your level of skill of drawings were not that good. It doesn't mean that you will maintain that kind of skills until the end of the semesters if you basically follow exactly what I've told, what I've teach to you guys there, right? And then you're going to combine them. Don't be too naive as a human being. Just absorb and don't improvise. All right? Don't be too naive. You understand what I mean, right? Okay? Lurus there, right? Okay? Don't go straight only there, okay? And don't want to. When you go to the highway or you drive your car, for example, like you drive your bike, okay? You saw something in front of you, okay, that actually can lead into those, for example, like a collision there, right? Okay, you will actually try to maneuver a little bit, right? Okay, and try not to go through with it, okay, and find basically a bit kind of changes, okay, your kind of directions there to save yourself. Same goes to what we've learned. I give you guys the guideline, I give you guys the methods that works. And then you'll find you can combine them, not throw away there, okay? Combine them. Because this is the to build up your strong foundations, this is basically the lessons that can help you for those who actually have zero skill of drawings here. And then you seek more kind of understanding by doing a lot of exercise. You cannot actually assume here there, okay? You draw 1 or 2 drawings, by right you don't know how to draw at what we call that before the previous leader, right? Okay, and then you didn't practice a lot, you won't be you're not going to become good at what you do. So remember, right, designs is just like mathematics sometimes, okay? When you want to understand about the formulas, you have to do a lot of training, exercise, all right, in order to understand about the formulas, okay? The same thing here goes there, right? Okay, because human brain need to develop that kind of routine before your muscle memory and your physical memory there, okay, can actually, right, coordinate together. We can work together there, okay, to develop that kind of understanding. Okay? That's why we need a lot of exercise. 20 drawings for your official submissions, but not to submit the whole thing. But you can keep those kind of drawing first. Okay, whatever that you've been working on, don't throw away. Okay, but you can actually submit them later on, okay, for some sort of like, just to add in more kind of efforts on your kind of submission, on your exercises. So, okay, I have done a few things, put it in a PDF and submit them. I'm going to evaluate all your efforts from now on, okay? But the amount of work that you bring over to those submissions has to lead to the quality there, right, okay? Because I have to remind you guys back again, if you draw like this, but we don't want to see these kind of drawings, okay, in order to create some value of your works, the marks are not being given from that kind of quality there, okay? This is one of the good drawings here. See? I can see that your friend over here tried to let loose a little bit on the flows and the motions. I can see the quality of those lines that he tried to produce, even though there has to be more practice from here, but this is one of the good examples there, guys. Hopefully you can maintain and improve there, right, okay, on your methods from now on. Now, hopefully you can analyze what a good and bad drawing is. Okay? What is this then? Good. Are these the same drawing that you tried to draw just now? Who are you doing? Who?
Sir, she opened her camera to let you see the object that she was drawing.
Oh, okay, okay. Where is it? Oh, this one there, Xin Hui. Can you see? All right, okay, good. So that means when you draw this one, right, using blind drawings, they're supposed not to become perfectly been done there, right, okay? If I want to imagine by using the same techniques and the same subject matter there, right? I want to show you guys here. If I want to draw them, but not looking at the papers when I draw there, right, okay? For my canvas over here. You guys see here? Yeah, right. I want to imagine I could do subject matter, those tractors there, right? By not looking at the papers there. Okay? I'm using my kind of memory imaginations that to work. I know that basically you haven't experienced this one there, okay? And hopefully you're not saying that I'm actually right crazy enough there, okay? Because if you don't actually write crazy enough to develop your imaginations from now on, you're not going to basically has the right kind of decision to become a multimedia designer there. And remember one thing, okay, all crazy peoples basically rule the world. Right? Napoleon Bonaparte, right, okay? Even though Donald Trump, right, okay? And all this kind of Hitler, right, okay? And of course, most of the famous Chinese, right, Korean kind of leaders there, right? They all basically, right, one of the main kind of what we call that leaders there, right? Okay? Genghis Khan there, right? Okay, all of them basically is not normals there. If they are normal there, okay, they won't become leaders there. Trust me on that, because all leaders, all people who actually have a great kind of visions, basically they actually have a very great kind of, they always have a risk takers there, right? See? Can you see there, guys, what happens in my drawings here? I basically try to draw this one there, right? These things there, right? The thing that I saw from Minhui, right? The tractors there, right? Okay. I think this is one of the things that I can draw from the basic structures there. But this is what turned over with my drawings. When I'm not look at things there, right? This is basically one of the way that we try to do some sketch line drawing there, right? They call thumbnails there. Thumbnails there, right? Okay, thumbnails there, right? So I can actually write, improve a bit kind of my drawings over here before I'm going to, what we call that, add more kind of details here there, okay? They're not going to be a perfect drawings there. But from those thumbnails, we can actually improve more further from there. You guys have seen basically one of my demonstrations before there, right? Okay. Okay, when you look how actually he draw this one, he take a very slow kind of time there to work, okay? And of course, right, okay, from that slow motions, okay, don't forget to not to press too much and maintain the continuing kind of line techniques while you draw. And don't try to hesitate too much when you move your flows of your hands when you draw there, okay? Let it flows quite smoothly there, okay, when you draw there, right? Okay? That's basically, we can see the result from there, all right? So I want to share with you guys over here how actually I draw things back again. But right now, okay, let me, what do you call that? Make a small little bit from here. Hope you guys can see from this distance there, right? Okay, guys, now take a look here. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. But when I want to have a full screen, we cannot see from there. Okay, let me switch on my lights. Of okay, sorry for the connection because I share basically my part with those lighting there, okay? So it doesn't look well over there. So let me share back again my screen. We're still in the phase of recording there, right? Okay, good. There. Okay. Okay, look at those drawings that I tried to draw over here there, okay? So when I want to draw them, okay, from my hands over here, I'm using marker there, okay? this is what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to start with this. Sorry, okay, I want to show you. Okay, right, I'm going to start with I think the head there, okay, the hairline and head. What I'm going to, how actually I'm going to draw those. Okay, the measure of those areas that I want to draw. But right now, it's quite small there, okay, from here. So what I'm going to do, okay, I spent basically a glimpse. I'm not saying that I didn't look at the papers when I draw there, okay, but this is basically one of the criteria that we can actually use there, okay, while we draw, to develop basically back again our kind of understanding there, okay, while we draw over here. But at the same time, guys, I draw the basic structures of his torso. And of course, with this drawing over here, right, we're not actually focused a lot on those detail, on those kind of perfections here. But I try to basically get as close as I can there, okay? Okay, from this exercise over here. Okay, the legs. There. And this part, okay? Can you see that, okay? When I spend my time to look into those papers all the time there, okay? By not worrying too much to, I'm looking at the papers a glimpse only, okay? Not too much, okay? When I draw. This is basically the quality of line drawings that we can get from here. Right, these are the things there, guys. Okay, the quality of line again. We're not focusing on the whole thing become perfections there, right? And of course, okay, from this distance, from what I actually have, my own visions here there, right? It's very hard for me from this stage basically just to focus closely, okay? Because normally if you want to draw this kind of what we want to practice the right, we have to work it in the face-to-face, okay? If I have the model in front of me, that's basically more efficient for us to study there, okay? But if you take a look right now, my drawing is not that perfect, right? But the line that we actually try to develop from here, based on the gestures line and the continuous line drawings, will help me to develop more understanding in the futures if I want to draw any kind of subject matters there, right? Okay? The way that we move our hands are going to be the most important thing. All right? First, before you're going to study all the various type of techniques there, okay? To help you to gain more kind of understanding on your own skills here. Okay? That's basically the value of this exercise for this week. All right. Even though we can, we still maintain to draw faces only and also hands. But if you want to draw anything else that you want, okay? For example, if I want to draw a tree there, right? I want to show you guys, okay? If I want to draw a tree, if I want to draw any kind of object from now on there, okay? Or maybe there, okay? Motorcycles there, right? For example, the motorcycles there, right? Okay? Which motorcycles that can going to be interesting there, okay, for us to draw there, right? You just draw a bike or motorcycles there. This one is scooters there, right? And easy riders. Okay. Because I have to find a more download this top clear kind of, okay, when you find some pictures to draw, make sure those pictures also quite clear for you to study directly. Okay. Okay, let me check over here. Okay. And okay, let's say I'm going to bring over here first. Okay, you guys can see that, right? Okay. If I want to draw basically this motorbike there, okay? Let me see it right. You guys can see it from here. So I want to draw the bike there, okay? Oops. Oops, not there. But right here. I didn't look at the papers, right? I try to measure back again there, right? So the drawing are going to be a bit kind of unique. And go back again to draw the handles there. Then I'm going to draw those visors, those what we call that, okay. Now, I hope I'm done running my markers there, right? There. Because all these exercises were basically to train our eyes and mind, okay, and hands together when you draw. Okay, last 2 days when I draw, okay, I get a very hard kind of what we call that pain basically on my neck and my hands there, okay, my arms when I. So the drawings are not going to be as perfect as we want, but it gives us basically a beneficial of understanding that we create from there. You see that? This line. It can be done a bit more details if I can actually look at the papers there, okay, entirely. But this is basically the quality of drawings. You can still see, you try to draw scooters there, right? But they're not going to be perfectly been done there, okay? I have the questions also from some of my professional cartoonist friend, okay? He say, I remember they say, okay, you can draw well, why you draw like this one, okay? Because not all people experience these kind of things. Most people who actually learn to draw entirely from the self-taught kind of way of working, right? They're self-taught, right? They actually doesn't get a formal education, right? Okay? And they kind of have the talents. They have been trained for so many years, and they kind of felt like, okay, the way that they have learned basically that makes them basically can develop their own skills there, okay? So that's basically can be done, okay? I can assure that those are also can be actually practice here. But it will take also for so many years that to do a try and an error at the same time there, okay? But what I actually have been explained and also taught you guys here, okay, I also came from that kind of way of learning and experience there, okay. I've learned also from my self-taught, okay, at my young age, until I was 18 years old there, okay. Then I get more kind of formal exposures, how to develop the right kind of skills there to draw. That's bring me over to what we can actually lead into what I actually have explained to you guys here, okay. Because I've learned also the formal kind of holistic of way of working there, okay, and understanding how to grow basically your skill from here, not just to develop from what you saw or learn as a self-taught, okay, because a lot of people thought, okay, when they be good at what they do from self-taught learning, they kind of prevent and try to avoid basically this kind of methods there, okay. They kind of see it is useless there, okay. I can learn by myself there, okay. Go ahead. But can you notice can you make your corrections from there? Can you learn from that corrections that you can actually critique back again your works or not there, okay? Do you know basically what your mistakes doing from there? And sometimes people don't actually realize, okay, all the process of learning over here. They are not going to believe each one of you guys to become an illustrator there. But they will give you guys a very good sense of design, understanding there. Right? You build up that kind of experience from what you see, from what you do there, and you build up that kind of senses along the way in order for you guys to learn new skills. All right, not everyone going to turn up to become illustrators. Not everyone going to turn up to become a good kind of artist there, okay? But you will develop your kind of senses of experience there, and design experience and senses at the same time. Not about taste of design only, okay? I know some people actually have a good taste of design there, right? But they cannot draw, but they love that, right? But they actually have a natural kind of what we call that kind of way of creating that kind of creativity, okay, in their mind that it works on that. But most of people, they have to train and get their kind of senses back again, okay, to taste the right kind of way of choose which one is a better kind of drawings, which one is better kind of design, color combinations, compositions there, right? Okay, before they get to create themselves. Okay. Otherwise, you become a robot there. Right? Just use an apps, click whatever that they have been provide you, all right, just to complete your kind of task. By the end of the day, the value that you bring from that visuals are nothing. Everyone can do the same thing. So what's the unique of your works from there? Because of this. Because the early process of foundations. Okay? Any questions? No? Right, let me see there, okay? Whether there is questions or not from there. All right. So guys, okay, for this week, okay, I think some of you guys have been complete those drawing good, okay. But if you think that you need more times to develop the okay, and I'm drawing back again because we have to practice our hands to move in the right way, right? To move the flows there, right? Okay, the flows there. All right, to move the flows in the right way there first. Okay, it's just like, you may remember what Bruce Lee, okay, one of the late Bruce Lee said there, okay, you know Bruce Lee there, right? When I was a kid, he was also one of my mentors there, okay? Idols there, okay? Other than some of the martial artists also that I love, right, okay, from Hong Kong there, okay? From American there, okay, Belgium there, okay? But Bruce Lee is one of them that I remember. Become the water, yes. She sounded okay. Be the water there, okay. Be the water there, okay. When you put yourself in the cup, become a cup there, okay. When you put yourself in the teapot, become a teapot, okay. Let it flow there, okay. That's basically the analogies, the good analogies. Okay? And of course, and one more kind of thing that I remember that till this day, okay, because I also repeat myself and put into my motivation all the time there, okay. I don't afraid for those who actually can practice 10,000 kick in one time, okay, because they don't have power from that. But if you practice your kicks, all right, one kick 10,000 times, that you become good at it, right? But with the right techniques, right kind of way of working there, okay, then you move on into another kicks, another techniques that get to works. Then you become flexible, you become water there, right? Because you can flow it well there, okay. You can blend over to any kind of techniques that you want. That's what the methods of Jeet Kune Do there, okay, that he tried to give. And also nowadays, okay, like our traditional silat also have that kind of analogies of working, okay, be the flows there, okay. Even though I didn't actually practice the silat for entire of my life there, okay, but I love martial arts very much, and exercise there, okay, workout there, okay, at the same times, because it gives you more motivations from there, okay. That's why be the water there, guys. All right. Then you will find the flows together there, okay. Thank you very much there, guys, okay, because you know that kind of analogies there. Right. Chisam there, right, okay. So that's basically, yeah, the what we call that. The reality is on there, okay. The logic is on learning experience there. Okay. Learn from the logic first, and then you will play with your imagination in the right way there, okay. Because all imaginations came from experience there. I don't believe that imagination came from out of nowhere there, okay. Because you cannot imagine something without having enough kind of experience there, right? And then you will manipulate those kind of things that you want to imagine into your own kind of thought and your kind of passions, and also comfort kind of zone there. All right. You want to, what we call that, go to some of the place there, okay, that you've never been before. You look at the pictures and you imagine them there. All right. You saw some of the pretty girl for the boys, okay, or pretty or handsome kind of Korean kind of celebrities, okay, for the girls there, right, okay. Then you imagine that they become your boyfriend or girlfriend, okay, using your imaginations that to work. You won't be able to imagine someone who actually right good enough for you without, you know, have this certain kind of visual in your mind there, right? Unless you basically some kind of like, I don't know, right, a freak, right? You can actually imagine your own kind of person there, right? But it all came from experience, understanding there, that we will lead into those kind of basic structures later on there, right? Because if you want to learn about the basic structures here, I can use these papers there, right? You want to draw some basic structures there, right? To draw a human. Right? You cannot just draw exactly like King Jung. What we call that, you work on that, it's not, okay? You have to draw the basic structures like this, the first back again. Okay, when you want to draw. But how actually you're going to draw like this? Okay? If you don't have that kind of experience there to move your hands in the right way. Okay? You want to draw some, for example, like anime kind of person, there are a girl, there are characters, there are. For example, here. How actually you're going to draw like this if you don't know the right kind of movements there to work? Okay? The right kind of movements there. How? Go back into those fundamentals there, foundations kind of drawings here. That makes you feel a bit more comfortable. You build up your confidence from there. Build up your confidence from here by using the right movements. It's like just now we saw, okay, like who actually, okay, Junwei or not Junwei, okay, Chisam maybe, okay, or anyone that just now. When he draw the okay, we can see that you draw like this one, okay. This is not the right way, okay. You draw the hair, right. This is not the right way to draw the guys, okay. When you draw eyes, this is basically styles of drawing. It's not techniques, okay. Not techniques, okay. When you draw, okay, you draw this kind of person like this. This is basically style of drawing. It's not techniques, the right kind of techniques that you draw. So don't go back into that kind of methods before you train your hands to draw in the right kind of movements and waves. Okay? So good luck with your exercise. All right, please leave it a comment in our group WhatsApp there, okay, if you have any inquiries there. So I did give a lot of thoughts. I kind of record basically my voice over kind of what we call the explanations to some of the students who actually came to me or personal message me, right, okay, to help to get more understanding from there, right? So good luck with your kind of exercise. Submit in the PDF format there, okay, and please include also your video inside your submissions, but separately from PDF, separate from PDF, okay. Those videos that actually have been recorded, just use them back again, just to send it over here. Okay, guys? So if you don't have any questions, I'll leave you guys here first because I have another sessions there, guys. Okay, thank you very much for participations. Hopefully, this kind of moments of experience will give you more insight of understanding. Okay, so appreciate your time, appreciate basically your efforts from here. All right, and good luck basically, guys. Okay, and see you guys next week. And don't forget, all right, to subscribe the channels here back again. All right, put a like button if you want to, and click to the bell there, right? Okay, at the same time there, right? Okay, spread out the news, the good things about it, right? Okay, even though I know basically, right? Okay, I try to improve all these kind of things from time to time there, right? Okay, and of course, okay, the creative kind of process sometimes become the mood are going to be mood like this, right? Okay, the graph, okay, the normal things there, guys. Okay, we try to maintain them because I'm not actually try to. I actually in the way it's called in the way try to become a bit more professional on the YouTube kind of channels there because it will help the communities to grow from there, okay, from what I've known there, right? And of course, okay, everything's are going to be in progress, okay. What we say that, okay, what we call that practice will lead into progress. I don't believe any kind of perfections there yet, okay. I believe in progressions there, okay. So thank you very much. Have a nice day and have a good weekend at the same time. Okay, take your breakfast, your lunch, enjoy yourself, and bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you guys. Okay.
So,
Thank you, sir.
Yes.